Yes, the demo is finally here for everyone to play. I've been working on God of Terra for the last 8 months and I finally have something to show for it. With this video I want to go over my plans for the full game, talk about the demo and give you more details about the game features and mechanics. If you don't want to hear me yapping about all the nitty-gritty details and just want to try the demo, the link is in the description down below. If you end up playing the demo and have thoughts about it, I would really appreciate some feedback. Here are a few ways how you can do that. First, you can leave a comment on any of my YouTube videos, or you can fill in the Google form, the link is in the description below. Without further delays, let's talk more God of Terra. I'm not really trying to reinvent the wheel with God of Terra. I simply love third-person shooters and I want to make one that leans more into the power fantasy gameplay while still mixing it with challenging encounters. For example, when I'm playing Remnant or any other Souls-likes, it feels awesome to overcome the challenges that these games present. However, I want my character to be more powerful in these games and not be flattened by every freaking crab or lobster that I encounter. On the other hand, a game like Outriders lets you be this unstoppable altered who can create carnage with a flick of a finger. And while Outriders still has plenty of cool and difficult encounters, I do want to see more Souls-like over-the-top bosses thrown into the mix. If I were to pick a game that matches my gameplay and aspirations for God of Terra, it will be Space Marine 2. This game makes you feel unstoppable and capable of cutting through hordes of enemies, while at the same time forcing you to be extremely cautious when it comes to killing big baddies. If I can get the same balance of power and challenge to be present in the God of Terra, I would consider my gameplay goal achieved. The enemies in God of Terra fit exactly into the gameplay design goals. Throughout the game, players will encounter 3 types of enemies. Cannon fodder, which are weak but plentiful and can overwhelm the player with their sheer numbers. Mini-bosses that appear in fewer number throughout the game and provide significant challenge to the player. And finally bosses, which are tough fights that block story progression, and you only get to kill them once per playthrough. Cannon fodder enemies exist to make you feel powerful, as you will be defeating multiple of such enemies while progressing throughout the game. On the other hand, mini-bosses and bosses present the player with increased challenge. The demo version of the game currently has 3 types of enemies, 2 types of cannon fodder variety and 1 mini-boss. Since the demo showcases the initial stage of our hero's journey, those enemies are pretty simple. You will encounter simple melee enemies that will run towards you and try to smack you with their claw hands, simple ranged enemies that shoot at you, and a mini-boss with a few well-telegraphed combos. In order to feel powerful, the player must first experience weakness. Elden Ring will be a pretty boring game if you start at level 100 character, going around one-shotting everything. Progression and gradual increase in players' power is what makes the power fantasy gameplay so enjoyable. In God of Terra, player progression is achieved through upgrades to weapons and armor. Each weapon in God of Terra starts as a simple and even a clunky tool. However, once fully upgraded, it becomes extremely powerful. In the demo, the player can use a crossbow, which at first does not seem to have any differences when compared to its real-life counterpart. You can fire 1 bolt at a time, reloading is pretty tedious, and your bolts get stuck in the first enemy that they hit. The upgrades, however, turn this crossbow into a completely different weapon. First, you go from being able to load a single arrow to 3, to an actual magazine of 30, with the fire rate not too far from an assault rifle. On top of that, additional upgrades make this crossbow a perfect sharpshooting weapon, making weak spot damage of a fully upgraded crossbow to be 4 times that of the base version. Furthermore, each bolt of the crossbow can punch through multiple enemies, with higher upgrade levels having a higher punch through. These features make a fully upgraded crossbow completely unrecognizable from its base version, leading to a huge boost in player power. Another side of player progression in God of Terra is tied to armor. Each armor set provides protection against damage, while also granting unique active and passive abilities. Furthermore, the armor upgrade tree is split in 3 branches: light, medium and heavy, with each branch catering to a specific gameplay style. In the demo, the player gets to choose between the first 3 armor upgrade options: Scout, Marksman, and Champion. Scout armor is lightest and is designed for hit-and-run tactics. When wearing this armor, the player can easily kite enemies across the battlefield, while also dodging enemy projectiles. The active ability of this armor is called Ride the Lightning. It allows you to add 50% boost to movement speed for 10 seconds, while making it easy to evade sticky situations. Marksman's armor provides a balance between protection and weight. In other words, it's kind of meh when it comes to both tanking and the enemy evasion. To compensate for this, Marksman's armor sets its focus on improving character damage output by giving the player a passive ability called Steady Hand. This ability reduces the recoil and projectile spread of your weapons by a massive 50%. This armor becomes especially powerful when combined with fully upgraded crossbow, allowing you to run and gun while shooting from the hip and still be able to hit enemies' weak spots without a problem. Champion's armor is fully focused on survival. It provides the highest damage reduction while also giving players the ability called Champion's Resolve. This ability allows you to raise a force field around your character, making you invincible for a few seconds. While the force field is active, the character will fully restore his health. If not on cooldown, this ability will also activate when player is defeated, acting as a cheat death mechanic. In order to upgrade weapons and purchase new armor sets, players have to spend 2 types of resources: Commendations and Crystallized Light. Commendations are easy to earn. You kill enemies, you get commendations. Tougher enemies, more commendations. In God of Terra, enemies are everywhere, which gives you many opportunities to farm this upgrade resource. Crystallized Light is a different story. To earn it, players must complete custom events. To initiate these events, players can simply step into the skull and smoke icon. Then all you need to do is to complete the objective and you will be rewarded with some crystallized light. If a player is defeated, then the event will reset and you will need to start it again. In the demo, you gain access to a few simple custom events that serve as introduction to the gameplay and the combat. The story I am trying to tell with God of Terra is a dark and brooding one. In this, I am drawing a lot of inspiration from the storytelling of the Warhammer 40k universe. My goal is to match the overall grimdark tone that you see in the Warhammer 40k books, while still telling my own original story. God of Terra Crestfallen is set at the end of the Long Night, a 30-year span of time during which the sun did not shine and the world has been shrouded by absolute darkness. During this time, the last remnants of humanity were secluded in the Spire, a tower fortress serving as the last refuge for the surviving population. Miraculously, the light has returned, making it safe to open the gates of the Spire and venture forth into the unknown. When making the demo, I was not sure if I should include a few bits of story or to throw players straight into the gameplay. I decided to still include a few cutscenes because the story and the overall world building will be a major part of the final game. While these cutscenes are still pretty janky, they are there to provide an introduction into the setting and the story, with better cutscenes being made towards the end of development. The full game is planned to be released during the summer of 2028. I know, it's such a long time from now, but this is how much time I think I need to bring my vision of the game to the final shape. I'm doing this whole game dev thing outside of my 9-to-5 job, so finding enough time to spend on it is extremely challenging. My hope is that by 2028 I can have a fairly polished 8 to 10 hour experience for you all to play and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you end up playing the demo and have some time to give me feedback, I would really appreciate it. I will be back in a few months with an update on the development, so make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're interested to hearing more from me in the future. Until next time, bye.